What's up, comic and pop culture fans? This is James and Bane with Minhunter Comics. Bane, you want to announce the winner from the Vampirella Strikes #1 Virgin Photo variant? J.R. Raider! Congrats, J.R. Raider. Hit me up in the comments down below and I'll get this out to you. This video's giveaway is going to be the Anaclecto Vampirella #1 variant. Only 100 exist. All you gotta do is be subscribed, like, and comment down below on this video. The next video, I will announce the winner. Speaking of covers, I made a video earlier this year about some covers that are not keys at all that still people love to have. I'll put a link to the video right here, but in case you missed it, the comics I chose to highlight was JLA/Avengers #3, Black Bolt issue #1, Wonder Woman issue 184, Power Girl 27, Catwoman 51, Detective Comics 880, Batman 423, Batman 244, Batman 251, and Superman 215. I like how that video came out and everything, but I really should have made it like a top 30, top 40 or something like that, because I definitely missed some big boys. The criteria we're going to be looking at today is covers that aren't variants, aren't second prints, anything like that, that are just regular comic books. They're not keys at all, not even minor keys, and they are selling solely for the art alone. First up, it was missing in the last video, so here it is now. Hulk 340. 1988, the year of one Todd McFarlane. There must have been something in the air that year because everything the Todd father was touching or writing was turning to gold. This now classic cover is no exception, as it's one of the most iconic Wolverine covers ever. The issue itself is fine, good even, but not a key, and that's what I like about it. This is just one book that people go bananas for solely out of respect for Todd and this master cover. For you sales data guys out there, a 9.8 just sold for $2,700 in May of 2021. Frankly, a ridiculous increase from previous years, but not one that isn't deserved. There are many great pre-Comics Code Authority horror covers, but we're going to choose to focus on Crime Suspense Stories #22. This 1954 iconic horror cover contains a man dismembering his wife and burying her pieces in his backyard. He and his lover, who has plastic surgery in order to stand in for his wife, get tickets to a show called Treasure Hunt and are chosen as contestants, and the host tells them that they have to dig up his backyard in order to hide the prize money. It's a cover that freaks people out still to this day, and it's one that's even mentioned in the famous book Seduction of the Innocent, which ushered in the age of the Comics Code Authority and the need to censor comics for the children. Due to how old this book is, inflates the sales data quite a bit, but the value of the most averagely obtained grade is 4,500 in a 5.0. There is one 9.8 in existence, but of course I couldn't find a picture, so here's an old CGC label 9.6, the best runner-up, and these grades for this old book are pretty shocking. Next up, Green Lantern 52. I'm giving you the most underrated book on this list early. Green Lantern 52 from 1967 is often one that is talked about and respected, but hasn't quite gotten the most flashy sales data yet. To this day, fellow Green Lantern heads call this one of the most definitive Hal Jordan Sinestro face-off covers. Since they are such eternal enemies yet friends, this cover conveys all of that and more. Fans also like to note the Yellow Lantern and the early attempt at a Sinestro core chant. Despite its age, it remains the most attainable on this list, but that doesn't take away from its awesomeness. The 9.4 average hits $500, and it may interest you to know that there are 3 9/8s of this tough-to-obtain, tough-to-grade black spine book. You can tell people wanted to preserve this through the years. This next one's an extremely iconic cover and one that did get remade in Avengers Civil War. Avengers #223. Classic Ed Hannigan cover here that again you probably recognize this from the scene recreated in the MCU's version of Civil War. Key Collector simply has the notes showing as classic cover and that's it. It's not a first appearance or a death or anything of note. It really is just a highly sought after book for one reason only: the iconic, memorable cover. It's a commonly submitted and purchased book by third-party grading services, with over 400 copies in grades over a 9.2 with just CGC. A CGC 9.8 of this 1982 book goes for $250 with a recent higher sale of $285 on May 10th of 2021. This one just looks great on a wall. Hulk Annual number 1. And now for one of my faves on the list, Hulk Annual 1. I actually had a poster of this in high school. Considered to be an iconic cover, it's one you might even recognize just as a casual collector, or maybe even someone who doesn't know anything about comics at all. This issue is not a key, but the art makes it one. It rarely gets more iconic than this Jim Steranko cover. Luckily, one thing it does have going for it is it was made allegedly using better paper and bound tighter, which is why there are possibly so many high-grade copies that exist, despite the fact that a 9.8 isn't impossible to obtain because there's about 30 of them. It will run you $6,500, and there was a crazy outlier recent 9.8 sale that hit $14,400 at Heritage Auctions, which usually sees higher average sales than the average market, but yeesh. One of my favorites, Nick Fury and the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. issue 4. Holy stylization, Batman, that is a nice cover. And yeah, okay, it's maybe considered a small-time key as it is the origin of Nick Fury, but it's the cover that sells this more than that particular notation. It's worth mentioning that issue 5 is also pretty sweet looking as well. There's clearly some Ian Fleming James Bond inspiration going on here, and I'm not mad about it. The stylized use of a black and white movie poster style background with Nick Fury dead center in color in action pose should remind you of some awesome spy movies, and that's the vibe it's going for. The 8.0 to 9.2 range asks for a steady $350. 9.8s do exist, and they go for $4,000, with the last sale coming in just short at $3,400. Fantastic Four number 72. Look at how awesome this is. Jack Kirby at his prime, ladies and gents. So much of this speaks to his style, from the look of the Silver Surfer, to the busy yet useful background, to the way he tries to make it look like Surfer is coming at the reader. This is just killer. Key Collector puts the only note as classic Kirby cover, and that it is. It's not a key, it didn't have a limited print run, and it didn't need some fancy 1 to 500 ratio in order to get it to be such a highly sought after piece either. It's just one cover that fans die for. 8.5s ask for $350, whereas the truly high grades creep up into the thousands with ease. A 9.6 is a $3,000 book, and a 9.8 reaches up to $10,000. Someone in 2009 had a wild outlier nowhere close to the sales of these for $25,400. Not sure what happened there, but clearly it speaks to the devotion of the fans and this cover. I have a t-shirt of this next one, Jungle Action 23. Here's a book that seems to move better raw. It's not from the Avengers line or one of the mega popular ones, so it is a bit rarer than collecting SpiderMan comics from this time for sure. There's less of these in slabs than any of the other ones on this list, but it easily makes its way onto this list for its iconic John Byrne cover. You guys have probably seen me wearing this shirt on this channel, and it's just that iconic a depiction of Black Panther. The sales data was a bit scarce on this one, but essentially a 9.4 seems to be the most common graded, and it fetches $200 to $250. A 9.8 fetches over $500, although it's tough to say, as one hasn't been sold since 2015. A tricky book to grade for sure, and one that Black Panther fans can't get enough of. Web of Spider-Man number 32. Look at this, one of the greatest Spider-Man covers of all time that's not from the amazing quote-unquote Spider-Man main run. Finally, this miniseries about Kraven's Spidey hunt is flippin' fantastic, and really all the covers are good, but this final issue Michael Zeck cover is exceptional. The perspective and rain lines really sell the macabre in this Spidey busting out of the grave cover. It helps that this was with the black suit to really add to the grit of this story and tone of the cover. 9.8 sales ask for a full $400. I'm actually going to give you guys a bonus one. I actually have 11 covers for you, but 10 sounds like a better YouTube title. So here's our unofficial one. Wonder Woman number 72. It's weird to see a book from such a major run with such a high number amount printed and non-key book from 1993 making this list, but you have Mr. Boland to thank for it. Here's Wonder Woman number 72. I even read this book a year ago and I don't remember it, so it really is just the cover that drives this. Classic Boland style, it has a nice realism and line work that people love about his pieces. At this point in his career, he became primarily a cover artist alone, and I can list at least 5 covers of his that are on my personal list of all-time best covers ever. This is another great one, with 9.8 highs in the 600s. And last but certainly not least, and remember this list is in no particular order, Strange Adventures number 207. For our last entry here, I find it fitting to end with a Neal Adams piece. One of his best, actually. While not a key, this iconic Deadman cover actually won the Alley Award for Best Cover in 1967. Reminding me of Nick Fury Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. number 4, it perfectly uses its monotone background with a bright, obvious color scheme character in the front. One of my favorite things, which has gone on to really be one of the things most people have come to enjoy about Adams covers, is the use of black in this red suit. The shadowing is very intelligently made, and it really just changed the realism people wanted in comics forever. You don't have to be a Deadman fan to want to own this amazing cover. High grades will cost you over $500 graded, with 9/8 running up the 1,500 mark, although I think if one did hit the market, it'd be far past. Only 3 perfect 9.8s exist after all. Guys, don't forget to like and comment down below. You get a chance at winning this Vampirella number 1 with the certificate of authenticity. Only 1 in 100 were made. What covers are you just absolute baddie for that aren't a key? I don't want you just listing beautiful covers that are keys. I really want to know those underrated books that it's just a gorgeous cover. And as always, guys, keep on hunting.